Missing Lover, it sounds like a dead giveaway that it's a song about a romantic partnership. But there's still something about that chorus that just, if you don't believe, it's like pledging allegiance, pledging honor, giving honor to God, basically. So I still think that there's something it's one of the best songs that combines the secular and the spiritual that I've ever heard. What's going on, everybody? You're right on time for another ride on the Groove Line with your host, Chris Stevens. Hopefully you all are doing well out there this Sunday morning. This is day number 8 now of the BMM 30 series. If you're new to this channel, On the Groove Line is a music podcast discussing music from the past, present, and future. Once we get to the future, and BMM 30 means June is Black Music Month. So for 30 days, there'll be a brand new episode talking history making musicians, artists, bands, songs, instrumentalists, eras, albums, you name it, we got it covered. Be sure to subscribe to this channel, tap the notification bell so you get notified of everything that drops on this channel, and don't forget to like and comment on the videos. The more eyes and ears get on this channel is because you guys like and comment on the videos, and we've gotten a fairly good response to starting this channel, so we're greatly appreciative of the people who are here and the people who are to come. All right, it's Sunday morning, so I'll be honest with you, I ain't a gospel person. I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys that I know scripture, I know hymns, I know psalms. I don't know none of that stuff. I stopped going to church when I was 17 years old. I just didn't want to do it anymore. And that's not to say I'm atheist. It's just that church ain't my vibe. At least I haven't found one that's my vibe. But anyway, so we're going to talk about a song today that kind of sounds secular, but it feels like church. And we're talking about the closing song from Deniece Williams' 1976 debut, This Is Niecy. Now, mind you, this album was recorded in a space of 2 months, from June to August of 1976. So this process moved pretty quickly. The album is only 34 and a half minutes long, but there's 8 tracks on it. So they got the most out of it. Niecy was, of course, backing up Stevie Wonder and Wonder Love. Him and Minnie Riperton are Wonder Love alumni. So Niecy was writing a song with Nathan Watts, who of course is Stevie's bass player, and that's how Free came about. And Maurice White, who of course was starting to work with the Emotions at the time. In fact, already worked with the Emotions because they had just released Flowers earlier in 1976. So he gets to Niecy, says, hey, I could produce your solo debut. And Niecy's like, cool. So that's how This Is Niecy came about. And Free, the song that Niecy was working on with Nathan Watts, became her first big hit. And This Is Niecy overall is a great album, but if you don't believe, it's just one of those songs where everything just lines up, just what you need for a perfect song. You have Verdine White on bass. You have Al McKay with this nice little strumming guitar part in the background. You got Jerry Peters, the same Jerry Peters who wrote You Got Me Going in Circles for Friends of Distinction on piano. You got Maurice White on backgrounds. I think he's also playing drums on this. So it's so crazy because the song starts off with this trumpet, and then comes in Jerry with the piano and the keyboards, because I think that I don't think it's a Wurlitzer. I know it's not a Fender Rhodes. But I know it's probably a Wurlitzer, one of those electric pianos. And then, of course, there's a acoustic piano part that just absolutely helps the song start to soar after the second verse and we get to the chorus. But it's just an amazing song. And the lyrics that Niecy sings, if you don't believe while you're away that my life gets emptier with every breath that I take, well, I must concede that is you I truly, truly need. So I try for you. Now, this absolutely could be about a human being, a lover. I mean, in fact, in the pre-chorus, she says, missing lover, where are you? Twice. So, but at the same time, there's something about this song that feels kind of, spiritual at the same time. Like she might be singing about a man, but she could also be singing about God too, which is, one of the it was the second half of her career. She gave up pop success just as when Let's Hear It for the Boy is going supernova, and she returns to gospel. In fact, Instead of doing Let's Hear It for the Boy at the Grammy Awards that year, she does God is Truly Amazing. And people were just like, is she crazy? No, she's just very strong in her faith. And you got to respect it because people still love Niecy to this day. In fact, she just had a birthday earlier this month. She turned 75. So many of the OGs are getting up there. We're happy that they're still here. Trust me. I mean, with as many artists and people of certain ages just, transition into whatever's next after this mortal coil, it's just like, wow. I mean, we celebrated Stevie turning 75, and we are eternally grateful that he's here with us. Niecy turning 75 after that is the cherry on top. But everything about If You Don't Believe is just one of those songs that if you need to vibe out, if you just need to chill, if you need to be alone with your thoughts, with your feelings, you can absolutely just sit with it. And If You Don't Believe is another good speaker song. Remember on the Keith Sweat episode when I said How Deep Is Your Love is a good speaker song? If You Don't Believe is absolutely a good speaker song. You turn up your your sound bar, your speakers, your Bluetooth, whatever you have that gets the most maximum sound, and you could just sit with that song and just, I mean, it's even got a church like sway to it at the chorus. So, I mean, is that actually Niecy sings it? If you don't believe the tears in my eyes, I cried for you. You can still, sort of sway to it. So it has like that church sway anyway, which is why I feel like you could actually make this. You could probably play this in church, or you could play it on the Quiet Storm, as many old school DJs did throughout the lifespan of the This Is Niecy album and afterwards. So I'm still trying to figure this out myself personally, because I mean, Missing Lover, it sounds like a dead giveaway that it's a song about a romantic partnership. But there's still something about that chorus that just, if you don't believe, it's like pledging allegiance, pledging honor, giving honor to God, basically. So I still think that there's something it's one of the best songs that combines the secular and the spiritual that I've ever heard. It just literally takes you to another place. I mean, there's a jazz outro, that's why I think it's Maurice on the drums, because Maurice started off in a jazz trio. In fact, he started off with Ramsey Lewis, one of the great jazz musicians of our time. May he rest in peace. May Maurice White rest in peace also. But just hearing that jazz outro with the trumpet and the drums and the guitars and Verdine on bass, it's like, okay, so I get that this feels like an R&B song with a jazz bent, but it also still sounds just like, I mean, I guess it's Niecy's voice, man. And it's important to note that in the 70s, you had three beautiful voices from the Chicagoland area. You want to talk about a big three? Let's talk about it. We got Niecy from Gary, Indiana. You have Sheila Hutchinson with the Emotions from Chicago. You have Minnie Riperton, Niecy's homegirl from Wonder Love, who had gone solo and gone mega at the time. She's from Chicago. So the Chicagoland area had some beautiful falsetto singers on the women's side. And those are the big, you want to talk about the big three. And I don't think any of them, I know Minnie's not with us anymore, but I don't think Niecy or Sheila would say MF the big three. It's just Big Me. They would agree that, that's a proud group to be in. So if you ever want to get a taste of just how great female singers once upon a time, and I'm not saying they're not great. I'm not saying there aren't great vocalists now, but I'm saying the stuff that people our age and younger back then used to listen to on the radio, they had a wider variety, a wider array of voices and songs to be enchanted by. Like, could you imagine, if you're from Chicago and you hear on WGCI After Dark or whatever? I mean, I don't think they had a Quiet Storm back then. It was probably another show name, but they still probably slowed stuff down after hours. But imagine around 76-ish, you're hearing Sheila Hutchinson sing Flowers in one set. The next set you hear Free, or If You Don't Believe, from Niecy. And then you probably hear Can You Feel What I'm Saying from Minnie. It's like, you're spoiled. You in Chicago was spoiled by just how great they were. And Niecy, I think, is the most underrated of the bunch. I mean, Sheila leading the Emotions, I mean, she was the driving force in that group. Wanda does some great singing too, but Every emotion song that we think of for the most part, except for I Don't Want to Lose Your Love and their two biggest hits. I Don't Want to Lose Your Love and Best of My Love were sung by Wanda. It just worked out that way. But the rest of the emotions, man, that's Sheila Hutchinson all day long. And just imagine, Minnie, going from this unknown background singer to having a song called Loving You that people are singing over 50 years later. And Niecy I don't think Niecy gets lost in the sauce by any means, but I think we don't give her flowers enough because she was just one of the most amazing singers to ever do it without any doubt. And it's important that we give our living legends their flowers, which is why this show exists basically. I mean, I wasn't around in 1976. I was 5 years away from, coming onto this surface. But I got an appreciation for old school because that's all we could listen to in my house. And it just, instead of being annoyed by, I mean, I was annoyed by it at first, but the older I got, the more these songs started to just resonate with me. And listening to Niecy, man, it's just like every time her voice just, what does what does The Rock do whenever he comes on Raw? Goosebumps. That's what I get when I hear Niecy, man. Just all day long. And I can listen to If You Don't Believe back to back to back to back to back and not care. In fact, I'm probably going to listen to it back to back to back to back to back to back again once I finish recording this episode. And in fact, we are done here. So let me know what you think. Is If You Don't Believe gospel or is it R&B? Is it spiritual or is it secular? Would love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments. And that's going to do it for day 8 of the BMM 30 series here on the Groove Line. Greatly appreciate y'all for riding with me as always. Contact information to the website, our email address, and our Facebook page, which I highly recommend you follow. Will be greatly appreciated if you guys do all of that. All of that will be in the description below, as well as a link to If You Don't Believe, so you can listen for yourself and let me know what you think. So thank you guys for watching. We'll be back tomorrow. 8 days down, 22 to go. We start a new week on Monday. So until that time, y'all be good or be good at it.